You're welcome to my channel once again. Obviously, my name is Jaru. Of course, your first time of seeing this video, do well to subscribe, and of course, after watching, do well to share so that other persons that are preparing for the UTME exam and of course the WAEC exam will get to see these points that I'm about sharing with you. Now, these videos I usually share on this channel, they are usually short and precise, straight to the point. So we are not just looking at the questions, we are trying to look at the points or the formulas in case you get to see such question, you're able to target it. Now, without wasting much of your time, there's a question here, and this question is coming out from what? From gas laws, the kinetic theory of what? Of matter. Now, before we jump into these questions, like I said rightfully, now you can get to look at some other videos that I've uploaded over time if it's your first time of coming across what this video. Now, let's go straight to the questions at hand. Now, they said if a gas occupies a container of volume 146 cm cube. Now, this is volume at 18 degrees Celsius and 0.9718 cm. Its volume in cm cube at STP is dash. Now, if you are going to solve a question like this, you have to be very, very careful and you have to be very, very cautious. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, you were given volume, you were given temperature, and of course, you were given what? Pressure. Now, there's a formula that's tend to relate volume, temperature, and pressure. And what formula is that? That formula is what? The general gas equation, which is P1 V1 over what? T1, which is equals to what? P2 V2 over what? Over T2. Now, there are some persons that might be having a difficulty in solving a question like this because why? They might be looking at where is my P2 and where is my V2. Now, if you look at it, go back to the question without rushing it, though will be fast. Now, they give us volume. This is my V1. The first volume was given. And of course, this is my first pressure. What is my first temperature? Though this temperature, I need to convert it to Kelvin by adding what? 273. Now, if we continue like this, but at the end of the question, there's something that they made mention of here. They said that this, and they said what will be its volume in cm cube at STP. That is to say, if the temperature changes to standard temperature and if the pressure changes to what? To standard pressure. Now remember that pressure, standard pressure, can be expressed in atm, in millimeter mercury, in torricelli, which is Tor, and of course in Newton per meter or square. Now we are using atm here because the first pressure was given in what? In atm. Now, but remember that the standard pressure in atmosphere is what now? Is 1. But had it been, I want to bring out something now. Had it been that the first pressure they gave to us was in millimeter mercury, that means our standard pressure we're going to use here would be what? 760 what? Millimeter what? Mercury. Now, that is that for that. Now, this is standard pressure. The standard pressure is what? Is 273 what? Kelvin. Now, obviously, now I want to emphasize on this. Now, because the STP is coming last in this question, that means my standard temperature and pressure is my P2 and my T2, and we are being asked to calculate for what? For V2. Now, had it been, they started the question by saying that at STP, so and so volume of the gas, that means my T1 and my P1 will be my what? My STP. Now, let's go straight to the question using the general gas. Now, I want to emphasize again, why are we using general gas equation? Because we are being given volume, temperature, and of course pressure. So there's one equation that relates those three, and again we are still asked to calculate for my V2. So that's why I'm using this formula. Now remember, this formula again is a combination of what? Of Boyle's law and Charles' law, in the sense that Boyle's law says VP1 V1 is equals to what? P2 V2, while Charles' law is what? V1 over what? T1 is equals to what? V2 over what? T2. Now, most times I would like to say it's a combination of three laws, which is the third one, which is the pressure law, which was stated by Gay-Lussac, which is what? P1 over T1 is equals to what? P2 over what? T2. Now, remember, in a video like this, it's not all about solving the questions. We are trying to look at how we can solve other questions and trying to understand the formula that we use in solving a question like what? Like this. So that's why I keep on sharing some formulas that concern the question. So let's jump into solving the question itself. Now, remember that we now understand that yes, we are using the word general gas equation, but we are looking for what? V2. So you can do it in two ways. All you have to do is to put in your given parameters, or you can simply make the V2 the subject of the what? Of the formula. Now, if I want to make V2 subject of formula, I will go like this. It will now be what? V2 is equals to, of course, I'm going to cross multiply P1 V1 C2 over what? Over P2 C1. So therefore, I'll put in my parameters, my P1 in is what? Is 0.971 times my V1 is what? 146 centimeter cube. Now, there's no need for me to convert this volume to dm cube, in the sense that they say we should leave our volume in what? In cm cube. Now, times my what? My T2. My T2 this time around will be what? 273. That is my standard what? Temperature. Over what? P2. My P2 will now be my standard pressure in ATM, which is what? 1 times my T1. That means I need to convert this 18 degrees Celsius to what? To Kelvin. How do I do that? Need to add 273. So it will now be 18 plus 273, and that will give me what? 291. So if I do that, I will now get what? 291. Now please, how did I come about this 291? I need to convert this degree Celsius to what? To Kelvin. Now from here, I will now of course say 0.971 times 146 times 273 divided by, of course, 1 times this is what? Is 291. Now if you put that into your calculator, of course you see your answer very, very fast. Very, very fast. So it will now be 0.971 times 146 times 273 divided by 291. So our answer will be what? 132.9. So our answer is 132.9, which is approximately 133 cm cube. Now this question is obviously coming from what? From the gas laws. No, like I said just now, these videos is basically to look at some basic part of chemistry, which is very important. And of course, this question is a typical examination question, and it's coming from what? The effective what? Compendium. Now the effective compendium is a book that contains all topics that you need to understand when it comes to what? When it comes to chemistry. Now, for those of us that are writing the UTME exam and the JAM exam, of course, you need a copy of the what? Of the effective compendium. Now, if you want to get it, of course, can send me a DM, and of course can get to you anywhere you are in Nigeria. Now, this book is very, very concise, and it has points and typical examination questions. So that's why I bring all the questions from that it asks over the years. Now, a lot of videos have to drop from time on, but please, as you watch the video, do well to do what? To subscribe to the channel, and of course do well to share to your friends that are writing the UTME examination. So I will see you in my next video. Thank you very, very much.